Okay, go
I'm
for
just
it.
gonna get into it. So, Elizabeth, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm great. So for you, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, about
Yeah,
10-ish?
it's around like 10:45 LA time. Just
Okay.
waking up at like 4 a.m. still today, getting that workout in.
Oh, wow. Seriously,
Yeah.
4 a.m. is the time you wake up.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I used to wake up that time, and then when I didn't have to wake up that time for clients, I just kind of became a bit lazier, in all fairness. I think I think I'll wake
It
up.
happens.
Yeah, yeah.
It definitely happens.
I think I was waking up that time for many years though, around four, half four, for I don't know, since childhood, going to school until late 30s, and then it slowly changed, and now I get up around half eight sometimes.
Okay.
That's like a lion. Yeah, proper
Yeah.
lion.
That's a good amount of sleep. I mean, I know nowadays it's hard to find a gym in California. So by
Mm,
like 8 o'clock, things are super packed. So I want to get in at 4, have the gym to myself before it just becomes just overly packed with people. There's only
okay.
like 2 gyms open in LA right now.
Two, really?
Like
Oh,
2.
because of the
And
whole
I'm driving like 30 minutes for it.
Oh man, it's worth it. It's worth it.
It is.
Wow, wow. So, Liz or Elizabeth, do you mind if I call you Liz?
Yeah. Liz or Elizabeth, just no Beth.
Uh,
Makes me sound old.
oh, Liz is cool then. All
Yes. Perfect.
right. All right. Some people they want the full name. Okay, so I mean, you have a great social media following. The first time I saw your page, I was like, the way you structured out all the exercises and the information which you provide everybody, I just thought, this is amazing stuff, which is a reason why I thought, let me reach out to you, because it's very different from a lot of specifically females Instagram pages, because it tends to be a trend with females that they like to do only glute exercises all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wow, like, do you train anything else?
There's
Whereas,
only so many hip thrusts I can see.
I know, right? Another
Hip
hip
thrust,
thrust, another.
Bulgarian split squat, and you know,
I
that's it.
know. They start creating these exercises. I'm like, what is that? But is that necessary? I'm like, okay, whatever gets the views, right?
Exactly.
So you have over 200,000 loyal followers with
Yeah.
amazing engagement, like fabulous engagement. And so people love what you do. And I could see, people, um, they're fascinated with what you do. But one thing which I found interesting about yourself when I had a little discussion was that your life hasn't been all, I don't know, roses and
No.
the daisies and loads of
Butterflies. I was born this
sunshine.
way.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take things back to when you were a teenager, when you were around 13 years old, and yeah, things were very different. Yeah, take
Yeah.
take me to that point there.
Okay. So a little background. So I grew up, everything was fine, and then one day at school it kind of just all hit. There was a girl, and she consistently had a lot of head lice. And I was in elementary school, and one day she bumped into me, and it was kind of like my OCD just turned on. Immediately overnight, I had such severe anxiety, OCD. I didn't want to go back to school because I was afraid I was going to get that. I ended up having my OCD was through the roof, to where I got on antidepressants. I had severe depression, anxiety. I was seeing a therapist 3 times a week, and I had the OCD to where like you were counting things, and I couldn't control my mind. And what happened was I ended up being homeschooled for a year. I was going to therapy. I was on antidepressants, but the antidepressants had me in such that they made me just, I don't know what it was. All I could think of was food. All I wanted to do, I felt hungry all the time, and I went to unhealthy choices. I went to the pizza, the full cases of Krispy Kreme donuts, the sour spray candies at Costco.
Mm.
And every day I would just pound my body with all of these sugars, and the sugar cinnamon pretzel and full pizzas, and your girl literally could eat that full 12 thing of Krispy Kreme donuts in like 2 hours. And in 1 year, I used food to numb my mind from all the anxiety I was going through. And I gained over 50 pounds in 1 year. And my confidence, my self-esteem, everything just went downhill. I was active. I was a cheerleader for the YMCA. I was very active, but when I wasn't active, all I could do, like all I wanted was just to eat. And I was using that. So I gained 50 pounds in 1 year, and I kind of hit my all-time low. And it took, I guess, getting to that point where I was ready to make the change and change my diet and everything to get me on my health journey. And that's when I actually found, my friend was vegetarian, and I'm like, she looks in great shape. You know, we see people, we want to be like them. So we're like, what are they doing? I'm going to reciprocate it and I'm going to get there. So I'm like, she's vegetarian, going vegetarian. I went vegetarian and I started making healthier food choices. I went to a nutritionist, and she told me that I was way too young to go on a diet. So she told me just, start, eating smaller meals, start having like the hummus with the veggies, just simple things. And I just started eating things I liked. I liked Special K. I was like, started craving the Special K and the Subway sandwiches. And then literally I was craving that Special K so much, it sounds weird, that's almost what I only ate. I was craving it. I was eating cereal 3 times a day, and I was having maybe a sandwich with some lettuce, tomatoes, and cheese, because I was a lacto-ovo vegetarian, and my body just started dropping weight. Before this all started though, I did try to incorporate fitness into my lifestyle. I went boxing, and I went to my first boxing class. This was before I made my diet switch to being vegetarian. And within 5 minutes, I ran to the bathroom. I threw up because I was so out of shape, and I just felt so nauseous. And I left, and I did not go back. So I decided, I'm so out of shape that the first step I'm going to do is go vegetarian, make the food choices, and see if I can lose the weight and then go back and attack. So I went vegetarian. I started eating a ton of Special K. I started doing Dance Dance Revolution. I was doing Dance Dance Revolution every single day. And within a few months, I actually dropped 25 pounds. Wow. I was feeling better. I was feeling amazing. I went back to the boxing class, and I made it through a whole class. And I was so proud of myself that immediately I signed up right then. I said, I'm going to start doing this 4 times a week. And I started boxing 4 times a week. I kept eating my Special K, my Subway sandwiches, and it just almost started becoming an obsession. People started telling me, oh my God, you look like you're losing weight. You look so thin. You look so amazing. And those affirmations, I never had them before because I was overweight and depressed and no confidence. And they just kind of lit me up to the point where I'm like, okay, let's train even harder. Let's add in some running after the boxing class. Let's cut the calories even more, or let's eat more Special K, or do the Special K 0-calorie water for breakfast, and then maybe have a bar for lunch. And what happened was my calories got down to probably under 500 a day. I got way too thin. I dropped under 100 pounds. Everyone was telling me I had a problem, and if they told me I looked thin, I took it as a positive, and I'm like, let's get thinner. I'm like, this is amazing. People loving this. And I, during that time frame, I did get off of all of the antidepressants, because they never made me feel good. So I flushed them down the toilet, which I probably shouldn't have done. Did that. And I just kind of started taking like little steps like that. What ended up happening is when my calories got very low, of course, what happens to your body, it kind of starts craving things. And I started doing these things called Binge, Purge cycles. So during the week, I would have like 0-calorie Special K water for breakfast, like a little fruit, those Kind bars, a fruit and nut one for lunch. and then maybe another bowl of Special K for dinner. I would do a boxing class every single night, followed by running on the treadmill with the sweatband on my stomach for a good 45 minutes to an hour. And I would do that 5 days. And then on Friday, I would basically just live in my room, and I would binge out on around 6,000 to 7,000 calories a day of just unhealthy things, pizzas, all of that unhealthy stuff. And I would gain, like, you know, from the sodium, the water retention, just the excessive amounts of calories in a short amount of time. In those 3 days, I could gain, 6 pounds of just water weight, feeling like shit. And then Monday would come, I would cut all my calories again. I would go back to the boxing, add in the cardio, and this went up and down. This went up and down for months. And it went up and down for months until I kind of hit my all-time low and I needed to make more change to it. So that's kind of like an introductory to kind of, so I've been on all sides of the spectrum. I've been overweight, I've been underweight. And then I don't know if you want me to go into my next journey and how I got into bodybuilding. I don't know how you want me to do that.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a second. So, wow, that's lots of roller coaster stuff there.
Lots of yo-yos with that.
Yeah, so it started off from one person who had some head lice, and then OCD kicked in, and then it just went a bit wild from there.
Crazy.
So you was what, 13 years old? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And your OCD was that bad that your doctor, your general practitioner, whatever, decided you need drugs.
Yeah, antidepressants. I was on 2 different ones. I was on Paxil and Zoloft.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Paxil was the first one. And because I put all that weight on in that first year, it was like a side effect as well as heart arrhythmias. And so I would feel nauseous all the time. So they switched me to the Zoloft when I went vegetarian and I started losing the weight. And that one I had less side effects with. And then I just started flushing down toilet.
Right. So I'm not.
It's so bad. It's okay.
So I'm not familiar with the antidepressants. I think what's typical ones you hear people say?
I think a lot of people are on Zoloft nowadays.
Zoloft?
I'm pretty sure that it's an SSRI. So my brain doesn't produce serotonin. So I use my training as my serotonin, and it's like my happy.
Right, I see. So when you eat foods rich in tryptophan, your body doesn't.
Tryptophan. I feel good with it.
Yeah.
Like the turkey bone broth and stuff.
Right. So I'm still trying to get my head around a doctor saying, do you know what? You need antidepressants. And you're 13 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was you doing in your life for your doctor to say, you need antidepressants? Here you go.
I feel with society nowadays, and correct me if I'm wrong, people may not like this. I feel like doctors, they just want to use a drug to fix an issue. It's almost like you look at someone with IBS. I work with a lot of clients with gut issues. I feel like every single one of my clients is diagnosed with IBS, when really it's going to come down to the gut-brain connection, healing your gut, getting rid of food allergies out of the diet. When your gut feels good, your brain feels good. So they don't know what's going on with your body. So they're like, let's try this medication. We're going to make money from the pharmaceuticals. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else, but it's going to fix it right now. So it's almost like how every kid has ADHD nowadays, when it's going to come down, like, again, the gut, getting in plenty of the fish oil. 50% of your brain is DHA. It's about quality of your food, your health of your gut, and getting all of that managed.
Absolutely. Makes total sense. When I'm dealing with clients, it's like everything. I'm like, all right, what is going on in the gut? Like that's the centralized hub of fitness kind of thing.
That's your brain.
Yeah, exactly. What about your parents during this time? Your doctor said you need antidepressants. What did your parents say about this? How did they feel about it?
They always wanted to do everything to help me. They were always supportive of me through every diet, every endeavor that I did, that you will soon hear in a few minutes. they saw how bad I was feeling and they didn't know what to do. And the doctors was like, this is what's going on. This is what you need to do. And they just wanted me to feel better. So they thought that was the right choice. And I mean, probably if it was a long time ago and I was in their shoes, maybe I would have done the same thing. But all I can say is I know they didn't think nothing was going to come out of it like that way. And you know what? I'm that type of person that it's a part of my journey. And if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be where I am today and able to help people that had eating disorders and all of this and doing this and built this amazing platform where I could help so many people. So I look at it, I look at everything as a positive and a reason where I am today. It's growth.
Yeah. I think, a lot of parents back in the day, and it's probably still now, would give a great deal of faith into the doctors, whatever they say. It's like whatever they say is the gospel, you know. And it happens today as well, even though, you know, we have a bit more knowledge to understand that general practitioners are not necessarily educated in nutrition, and they don't know that much about the gut health.
I like to say a practitioner, they practice on you. They practice, meaning, oh, something's going on. Let's practice. Let's try doing this. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. We'll try something else.
Absolutely. Or a general practice. You know, they're general practitioners, so it's like, let's try a general practice and see if that works. I don't want a general. I want something specific.
I want a specialty. Specialize in it.
Exactly. So, all about friends. Your friends during that time. Did you have many friends around you, or was you pretty much?
I had one really, really good friend, and she was there for me for everything. And we were best friends. She saw I was going through all of it, and she saw how when I was on all the medications, how just my self-esteem, my self-confidence, how everything was just down the drain, and how much I just truly just, like, I would literally put on extra large t-shirts to hide my body because I had no self-confidence. And when I started losing the weight, she was like, oh my God, like you're feeling good. You're looking good. But yeah, I did get to that to that down point. And then I kind of I was always active in sports. So I had like my cheerleading friends and all of that. But it was almost like when I wasn't at the sport, I was kind of doing my own thing, and I was to myself because I had so much anxiety going on.
Yeah.
So I did my own thing.
So that point when you were like, you know what, this all needs to change. When was that moment? When was the flicking of the switch moment when you started to move out of the roller coaster? Or was it a slight change, but then you dip back down again? Like how did it go from there?
I would say I got really, really low in my weight, and I just wasn't feeling good. And I'm like, I'm not feeling good. So this is a shift that I made. Let me just switch everything and just try a totally crazy diet. So you know what I did overnight? I went raw vegan. So I got very dogmatic, and I'm like, I'm not feeling good. This isn't truly like an issue. Let me just try a different diet. Maybe I'm not getting my nutrients, and go from there. So I was around 16. I cut back on like the crazy binge purge cycles, and I went raw vegan. So what that means is you only eat fruits and vegetables, nothing cooked. And a majority of that, it's something called the 80-10-10 diet. So 80% carbohydrates, 10% fat, 10% protein. An example day of food would be breakfast, 10 bananas. Lunch, 5 mangoes, side of dates. Dinner, a large salad with maybe 5 more mangoes on it and a little bit of nuts. And I started eating this diet. I was going to the farmers markets, getting all fresh, eating so much fruits and vegetables and all organic. And I got my calories up, and my weight came back up. I got around 125. I was 90 pounds prior, and I was feeling good. I wasn't counting calories. I was just focusing on abundance, fueling my body with abundance. So I started feeling better. Yes. And I started kind of kickstarting everything, but I was so dogmatic about my diet. I still had that disordered eating mindset. I was doing Insanity from the P90X people.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was still boxing, and I always wanted to build my body, but I had that cardio mindset. So I never got into the bodybuilding. I just was doing the Insanity stuff. And what happened was I was in high school, feeling amazing, doing my raw vegan. And when I left high school and I went to college, I went to University of Tennessee, I was still raw vegan. And what happened was I just overnight just started getting these digestive issues. So I would wake up in the morning. If I had one sip of water, I would look 9 months pregnant. Severe gas, bloating, severe constipation, even laxatives would not fix the issue. I had 30 pounds of fluid in my stomach. So I had toxemia. I went to every GI doctor, top GI doctors. I didn't have my period for 7 years. Everyone said that that's normal for someone my age, that it's just an eating disorder, and that's normal for someone to hold on to 30 pounds of fluid in their stomach and to have that much distension in their stomach and not have their period. And
Who said that?
I went, like a top GI doctor. I did cortisol testing. I did everything. And I was in so much pain because I had all this water in my stomach, and I'm like, I'm training. I got into marathon running. I was training for marathons with my dad, and in school full time, going for my degree in kinesiology. And then all I could focus on was first thing in the morning, I woke up and I couldn't go to the bathroom. Even if I took tons and tons of laxatives, my stomach was just so swollen, and I just felt like there was 5 gallons of water sitting in it all the time. I had so much gas, so much bloating. I kept trying, maybe do a monofruit island to give my stomach time to rest. I worked with master herbalist. Everyone, the issues were still there. I found a doctor based out of California. He was a chiropractic doctor, and he started running tests on me. He did parasite tests. He did hormone tests. Basically, he said, I don't know how you're up in the morning. I don't know how you're training for a marathon because you are past adrenal burnout. Your cortisol is through the roof. My progesterone levels, crazy low. Estrogen levels, crazy low. So that I did like a 2-week test. So I was ovulating, but my body wasn't having enough progesterone to actually shed the egg. Parasites. I had 15 types of parasites. They were ones called strongyloids. They live in your intestines without a host. I had the highest case of H. pylori that they've ever seen. And then I had no fats in my diet. My liver was going. My adrenals were burnt out. And I went to Hippocrates Health Institute for 2 weeks to juice fasting, learned everything there. I did, you name it, I did it. I worked with everyone that was raw vegan, trying to heal myself from the parasites and everything with that. I did the medications for the parasites. 1 month in of going through psycho detox, of just waking up every day crying because when you're detoxing, you feel worse. And then I'm going to school and training for a marathon on top of it, and not going to the bathroom. So I'm detoxing, yet I'm not removing. So what happens was the medication, it kills the parasites, but it doesn't kill the eggs. So after going through all of this for a month, the eggs would rehatch a month later. I would be back to square one. I worked with a master herbalist. I've done gallbladder cleanses. I've done 2 weeks juice fasting, monofruit island. I've been at healing centers. I had over 100 colonics within 1 year with black coming out of my stomach, with tons of yeast, candida, everything. I've done clay, you name it, I cleansed it. And I was just to that point where I tried every protocol. I tried the herbs. I tried the medicines. I tried every doctor. And I was calling my mom every day just in tears. I'm like, I can't go through this anymore. I would literally take a picture and I would be sitting in the car and my stomach would be out to here. And she's like, what'd you do? I said, I had a sip of water. And the last thing I thought it could be is I'm like, well, maybe I have the mucoid plaque, which would be in your small intestine. So my dad found a place that was based out of Georgia. They specialize, only place in the world that actually uses these formulas and herbal tinctures. They create a concoction, you drink it. They put you on these machines, it shakes it up, and it actually removes the mucoid plaque out of your stomach, which is on the barrier. And I flew there by myself. I got in a hotel room and I was there for 2 weeks. And no matter how much of the concoction I drank, nothing would come out of me. They thought I had a blockage in my stomach. My mom flew down immediately. We went to, I got a full DEXA scan on my stomach, and they're like, there's no blockage. And I remember I got back in that car and I told my mom, I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't cleanse anymore. I can't go to a doctor anymore. No one's fixed me. I felt helpless. I was sitting in the car with her outside of that x-ray place, and I'm like, what can we do? And I said, what has actually made me feel better? I remember we had this oxygen-based colon cleanser that my dad and me found a long time ago, and it oxygenates your body, so it kills off the yeast and bacteria, and it's non-laxative forming, and actually is magnesium based to move things out of your system. And then I said, well, the parasites are still there. I need to kill off the parasites. So I created my own special parasite cleanse, adding in herbs mixed with something called DE, diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is fossilized phytoplankton. So what people don't know, that actually goes deep inside. It actually shreds the eggs so that they can't rehatch because you're shredding the eggs. Nothing has got there before. So I'm like, I cleansed, I've done colonics, I've done everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 rounds. I did the oxygen-based colon cleanser because I've gotten to healing crisis before. You have to make sure that if you're detoxing, you're removing from your body. So I did that to kill off the yeast, the bacteria. The H. pylori was still super bad. So I found something, it was a tea from Africa, like a $300 tea. I got on that. I was doing the zapper, those zappers that kill parasites. I thought it worked.
How does that work exactly, the zapper?
It's like a little zapper with coins on it, and it's supposed to emit rays and kill off parasites. And I don't know, but I was trying anything at that point.
Yeah.
And then I did the fossilized phytoplankton mixed with the herbs and concoctions that I made, and I developed my own protocol, and I did 2 rounds of it. And I said, you know what? Whatever it is, whatever was in you, you're done. Now it's time to heal. There's only so much you can cleanse your body, Elizabeth. It is time to heal. New part of my journey, I found, I'm like, I want to switch my diet. I want to get off the fruits. I want to stay raw vegan. So I found someone called Dr. Robert Kassar. He was a liquidarian.
What is that?
Liquidarian. So he basically only ate liquids.
Oh, come on.
I did it all. I did it all.
I love it. Liquidarian.
You'll like love this. So basically I learned everything about him. I learned everything that he basically is a 70-year-old guy and he's fucking shredded. It's gut microbiome. So I would drink these 7 liquids a day. I made my own kombucha out of yerba mate tea. I had blue-green algae that I fermented with an amethyst crystal, and I would drink that water. I had a full greens juice only. I had a spirulina drink. And then I would also have a red hibiscus water with my chia seeds in it. So for colon stimulation, kidneys, the omega-3s, the fiber. And then I would make these 3 additional smoothies a day. In those smoothies were tons of hemp seeds, tons of coconut oil to kill off the bad bacteria, tons of spirulina, tons of chlorella. I did things like macuna, shilajit, fulvic acid, and I was still marathon running. I started fueling my body with these 7 liquids of vitality and these 3 drinks, and I didn't calculate my calories. There was no sugar in my diet. Just so much spirulina, so much chlorella, so much healthy fats that I didn't have for years. My marathon went from a 5:05. I'm telling you this, in 4 months, my energy was through the roof. I stopped cleansing. I started healing. I killed off all the bad bacteria. I hit a 3:35 in 4 months from a 5:05 with my marathon.
Oh, wow.
I felt amazing. My dad went with me. It was the Napa Valley Marathon, and I could just hear him screaming in the background when I ran through that, because I just was like, and today that's like my go-to, because I'm like, I feel fucking amazing. I got rid of the H. pylori, got rid of everything. I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
Yeah.
But as always, that doesn't last so long because it's a liquidarian diet. So then I have my next journey. I don't know if you want to go into that yet.
Amazing. Wow. Wow. So it's all valid stuff. And I think, as you said earlier, it's like, you know, you wouldn't take anything away. It's like, from your experience, you're able to take this and use it with your clients now, you know, because
Yes.
you've had to go and find out these things yourself. And what surprises me is you've had naturopathic doctors, did you say?
Yes,
Several. And none of them were really able to help you. You kind of figured it out for yourself.
Yeah, because I have a very sensitive gut. So I'm celiac. I can't do dairy. I have so many food. I'm FODMAP, histamine sensitive, because of how extreme I went with my diet. And they would tell me things like, do flax seeds, do things like this, and I would have an autoimmune reaction to it. So it's everything they told me to have. I wasn't your standard person. I've gone through so much, because you could see my journey is kind of just so different and so extreme that just they wanted to put me in this bracket, and I'm just a different individual, and that's how it was.
How did you learn about your intolerances, or did you have allergies? You got allergies as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how
So
did you learn about those?
I did the ALCAT test through one of the doctors, but what happens is when you do food allergy tests, if you're not consuming the food, the antibody's not in your system. So things like dairy and everything, they showed up absolutely fine. When if I have it, even raw, non-lactose, my throat closes. So I kind of took it into my own hands. It takes your body up to 4 days to have a reaction. So I did my own elimination diet with a 4-day rotation, adding things in to figure out what my food allergies is. And that's the approach I take with all of my gut clients. I'm like, don't waste your money on the tests. Let's do an elimination diet. Let's heal your gut from the inside out. And then let's add in the food, and let's track everything, teach you how to create your meals, and teach you what your body feels best on. Because I'm sorry, half of our population, they don't know what it is to feel good, because they have things in the diet could be that could be triggering things. So they look at me and they're like, well, your diet's so limited, but they still have so much gas, bloating, and digestive issues. When you cut things out, you're going to feel better. When you cut things out that are aggravating your system. So it's finding your true allergies through like elimination protocols and healing the gut. I'm a GAPS practitioner, so I specialize in the gut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Have you done any other types of tests? Have you done like a genetics test at all?
I didn't do genetics. I've done biofeedback testing, tons of parasite testing, food allergy testing, full hormone panels, checking ovulation.
Tell me about the hormone, the full hormone panel that you done.
So it was a saliva test, 2 weeks to track everything during my cycle. And like I said, it said that I didn't have enough progesterone, but I was ovulating. So they wanted to put me on birth control. I don't believe in birth control. So I did it naturally. I researched everything in terms of hormones. And I got my period back within 2 months of a protocol that I made using herbs and essential oils. And I did it all myself, and I got it back. So it was all through healthy fats, my cortisol levels with my adrenals, using things like geranium to help regulate, and frankincense on my stomach several times a day. And then I created my own blend with Vitex, which is a natural herb to help normalize your hormones.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All these herbs and stuff that you that you play around with. Well, do you have a certification in that sort of thing, or is it just all experiments where you just?
So, I mean, everyone's body is different. I have my 4-year degree in kinesiology, my CSCS, but I'm also a holistic nutritionist and a GAPS practitioner. But everything I've learned about herbs and everything was through my own research and from all of these healing centers that I spent weeks at. Trial and error error as well on my body, seeing what responds best with. I don't believe in you need every supplement in the world. I believe in finding the few that your body actually does best with, functions with. I don't like when people are like, you need a multivitamin and this and this and this and this and this. That's the approach I take with my clients. I'm like, what's going on with your body? What do we need to do? What works for me may not work for you.
That's brilliant. That is so good. Like, really, it's a lot of elimination process when you think of it. So how would you work with a client to find, there's so many different foods, but that's really good though. That's really, really good. Do you have any specific type of biohacks that you might use on a regular basis? Do you do like, I don't know, like grounding, or I don't know, go out in the sun for a certain amount of minutes a day, or any other methods like red light therapy or anything like that?
So I do a few different things. One big thing that I do is, every morning I have like my matcha, my green elixir, and my bone broth. And I do that every single morning. I do around 2 to 4 cups of bone broth a day, the gelatinous stuff. And to this day I do. But one thing that has really helped me is meditation. So every morning, right when I wake up, I have my headset, I have my phone, I turn on my Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I do, if it's one of those crazy days, I at least make sure I get it in around 10 to 20 minutes of meditation. And then before I go to bed, I either do bionic beats, which are different frequencies to do different things in your body. So there's different frequencies for stress, for constipation, for liver detox. And I'll either listen to that while I'm sleeping, or I'll go back into a Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation. So I start my day and my day every single day with meditation. And then also my routine is going to be my training. I do that first thing in the morning. It helps me with my serotonin, feeling good. And then I always start my day with like my elixirs, with my bone broth, my collagen, as well as all of my greens, and make sure that I'm oxidizing my body and I'm feeling its best. And then one more thing that I do have, which is, you may not know, is, those infrared saunas that you could have in your house.
Yeah.
So I don't have one of those, but when I went to Hippocrates Health Institute, there was this girl, and she was dying of terminal cancer, and she did Reiki on me, and it was so healing. And she got me this pad, and this pad was jade crystals, and you could put it on your stomach, and it heats your body from the inside out, unlike a heating pad, and there's no EMF frequency. So I have this giant jade crystal heating pad, and when I'm stressed or have anxiety or any of that, I lay it on my stomach, and it just grounds me. But it's an infrared heating pad, so no EMF radiation, and there's just something about it that just calms, soothes, and grounds me.
It's a what? It's a pad, an EMF heating pad.
It's a heating pad, but the heating pad, it's basically jade crystals all across jade. So the jade lays on you, and then there's no EMF. It does straight infrared heating. So it heats you from the inside out versus outside in, with no radiation.
That sounds really interesting. You
It's
got to
so
send me a
healing.
link. You got to send me some information on that. I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I have something in my house called
and crystals. I have them all over. One of my clients is amazing, and she hand makes me all these crystal bracelets, like tourmaline, aquamarine, and I have different ones, and I wear them every day. And I have my citrine that I cleanse them with, and my sage. So I always have my crystal bracelets on.
Yeah. I need to get something like that. So you wear the different crystals for the different types of energies that you want to have for the day, kind of thing, I would assume.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I was about to say that I have a device in my house called a Summer Vedic, which has it has a crystal inside it. It's a special stone, and I'm not too sure what it is. It's like one of those precious and semi-precious stones, and the way it's been devised is you plug it in, like okay, so it's a little device which you can connect to electricity, and the electricity kind of amplifies the
Wow.
crystal's
Like the
frequency.
energies.
Yeah, the energy around the
Yes.
house.
Love it.
So it's actually used to block or mitigate EMF and create like a harmonious frequency
Okay.
in the house. So
I love it.
and it's supposed to be good for plants as well. So if you have any plants in the house, it's good for plants. And it could be used to, I don't know how you feel about like structuring water, whether you believe in that sort of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, it's supposed to structure water. And it's supposed to be good for pets as well. If you have pets in the house.
Got two French bulldogs.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
You need to
But
send
yeah,
me over the information on that for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I'm all about energies, to be honest with you, and
Mhm.
it's something that I'm trying to get a bit more into. You know, I do the meditation myself as well, but I do find when I try to do it myself, maybe I'm just trying too hard, where I just expect everything to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm expecting me to float in midair or something. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's hard. I'm still learning, and I ask my boyfriend sometimes. I'm like, some days I just feel like my brain is shifting, and I'm trying to shift it back, and I feel like I'm forcing it. He's like, you can't force it. You just have to go with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And just some days, if it shifts, you got to let it shift. You redirect, and you may just need to try a different type of meditation. Yeah.
I I use a couple of things to help me with the whole meditation process, and one of them is behind me. I don't know if you can see that here.
Yeah.
It's called a muse. It's called what does it say?
Oh,
Muse. It's
that's
called a
cool.
muse. So this band, this metal band here, I think it may be copper. Basically, it rests on your head, and basically it's like it reads the prefrontal cortex of your brain. So when you are meditating, it kind of picks up the energy in your mind as to how mad it is, you know. So
Yeah.
you have earphones or headphones, and you have an app, and with this, basically, it's like it's a guided meditation.
Hmm.
So where if you choose a weather, you can choose different states. You could choose a weather, and if your mind is like all over the place, let's say you just had some caffeine and then you put that on, the
Yeah.
weather condition will be stormy, you know, and you'll hear like thunder and lightning and stuff like that. But like if you start to calm your thought process, the weather condition starts to calm. You can hear it in the sounds. So it's a guided meditation. So you know where you're at. You know
Yeah.
when you're thinking, you're wondering, okay, am I meditating? Okay, this will help you.
Yeah.
You know, it
Okay.
helps me anyway.
That sounds really cool. I need to look
Yeah,
into that.
yeah. So I'll send you a link on that as well.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Another one is Brain Tap. I don't know if you heard of Brain Tap.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like there's loads of different stuff which you can get from Brain Tap. It's I use it as a way of kind of helping to meditate, and also to kind of subconsciously encode whatever I want in my brain, almost like the Matrix, you
Yeah.
know, where you just want to, all right, I want to study better today, or I want to increase focus, or I want to increase my energy for my
Yeah.
training. And you can find the setting on the BrainTap app. Click on it,
Hmm.
and you have these headphones which come with it, with a visor. And in the headphones, they have these lights, which I'm guessing it goes over your ears, and the light, I'm guessing, gets picked up by certain um, transmitters in your ears or something. I don't know. Something in your
Yeah.
ears picks up the lights, and the visor has these lights as well. And obviously
You
through,
know, I think my dad had that growing up, and it like blinks and stuff on your eyes and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, BrainTap has the, you know, the light frequency, and in the headphones they have different stuff, like whether it's subliminal messages or they got like what they call it, isochronic tones and binaural beats.
Yes, he
So
had that. I remember that when I was like 9, he had that thing on his eyes, the headset, the frequencies and different blinks on your eyes, and your eyes are
yeah,
closed. That thing was awesome.
yeah, it's
That thing
amazing.
was awesome.
It's amazing. I use that most nights, to be honest with you. So it's like, okay, what do I want my brain to think? Normally what I do is I put it in there's like a delta setting to help you to get into a deep sleep. I'm like,
Yeah.
right, deep sleep is
Yeah.
everything. That's the
Yeah.
goal. So I'm like, okay, let's select deep sleep. All right, let's go for it.
Go.
So yeah, brilliant. So I can send you some information on that as well.
Please, I'm gonna steal my dad's back.
Oh, really?
If he knows where it is, though. It's been so long.
So, I remember you mentioned that you had competed in the past. I think it's is it 2 WBFF competitions?
Yeah.
Did you do? Yeah.
So when I decided, when I was doing the marathon running, um, I I pushed it to the point where I kind of burnt out on my races, and I lost my love for running. And I always wanted to build my body. So I graduated college from University of Tennessee. I moved to California. I was an Equinox trainer, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go all into bodybuilding. I was still just not feeling 100. I was still having a little bit of digestive issues from like all of those drinks. Just because I started having more whole foods in my diet, like a lot of raw vegetables. And I just would get gas and bloating. I'm like, I still feel like I need to find the right diet for myself. So that's when I went and I became a GAPS practitioner. And I did a full GAPS protocol. I went back to eating meat after 7 years of having no meat. I'm not a vegan anymore. I'm not a vegetarian anymore. I do eat meat. I did a whole GAPS protocol to my gut, and I actually went all into bodybuilding. I still had that eating disorder mindset. I always wanted, like I said, to build my body. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go all in. I know as a natural athlete, it's going to take 3. You only can put on around 3 to 5 pounds in a year as a natural athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I said, my mindset's in a bad place. I'm still looking at calories. I'm still looking at just things bad. I said, I'm going to go into a lean bulk. I'm going to train 6 days a week and crush it in the gym. I'm going to build my physique. And when I can look in that mirror and I just love my body, and I don't care what that number on the scale says, and I feel strong and confident and incredible, that's when I'm going to go into a cut. So I started bodybuilding. I trained with Mike Rashid. I bulked myself from around 100, 125 pounds up to 180 pounds. I did a bulk over the course of 5 years, training my ass off, powerlifting style. I did all my own programming of progressive overload, periodization, bodybuilding mixed with powerlifting. I was pulling 365 conventional deadlift. I was repping the 60 pounds for my shoulder press, squatting 285, and I was 180 pounds, and I looked in the mirror, and I was in a sports bra, and I felt so confident, and I didn't care that it said 180 pounds. I was eating 6,000 calories a day. I worked from 1,000 all the way up to 6,000 over those 5 years, over 500 carbs a day, tons of rice, and I was just like, I'm ready. I always wanted to compete, but I wanted to make sure I had that muscle maturity on my physique, as well as I knew that my mindset, that's what people don't understand, is if your mind does not love your body, where you are, who you are now, losing weight is not going to make you love yourself. Yeah. So I was working on myself through self-practice, tons of affirmations and work, as well as building my body, completely healed my gut with the GAPS protocol. And I did after the 5-year bulk, I did a 9-month slow cut, implementing carb cycling, so that when I did lose the weight, it was sustainable. I wasn't doing 5,000 hours of cardio a day, burning myself out on no calories. I cut myself down over those 9 months. I did 2 WBFF competitions. I picked the WBFF because that scariest thing for me would be stepping on stage and showing confidence coming from an eating disorder. So that was the scariest thing I've ever done. I did 2 shows back to back. I'm so proud of myself for hopping on that stage and doing that. And then my carbs hopping on stage were like 275 and I was like lean. I reverse dieted myself right after that show. And, during my cut, I did it so periodized with carb cycling, refeeds, which is what I do with all my clients. So I was still squatting 225 pounds at 130 pounds when I was doing the same thing at 180 pounds. I lost a few reps. I wasn't repping it out, but I was still getting 5 to 6 reps. And I reverse dieted myself. I launched my business, and now I was going to be competing this year. I want to go for I decided like I was going to do bikini, and with COVID, all the shows got canceled. So I decided, you know what? This is just a calling for me. I want to flex my muscles. So next year, I will be doing figure and PC. I want to flex. I want to be, I think Dana Lynn Bailey is so freaking strong, confident, beautiful. I love it. I want to get on that Olympia stage and win that Olympia. So that's my next goal. I say aim for the stars because you never know where you're going to land. Got to aim big. So I'm building. I'm still doing lean muscle mass. I'm eating in a slight surplus right now, doing what I love, working with my clients. And next year I'm going to be just going after that pro card and then hopefully Olympia stage.
Amazing. How often are you training now?
6 days a week.
6 days.
Yeah.
Right. And do you have a certain day when you would rest, or could it be sporadic every week?
I don't believe in like planning rest days because I believe in listening to your body. So I kind of just like go. And then if I have the day where I don't, that's it. And then I also, since I record content for social media, some days like my rest day, I just go in and I record my social media content. Just get up, get my body moving.
I'm not competing. I've competed before and it's been fun. But I'm like, do you know what? I'll leave that to the younger people. And so right now, when I train, I literally go by the way I feel. I've got no set routine. And do you know what? I love it. I love it. Like people are, oh, what are you training tomorrow? I don't even know. I'm going to look in the mirror and make a decision that way. And it feels so good.
It does.
And I think that was one of the things that kind of pulled me away from competing slightly. That was one of the reasons.
Yeah.
Because it's good in a sense that it keeps you regimented. It gives you a goal, you know, it keeps you focused, which is fantastic. What I found for me was like, I lost my passion for training. I was like, I don't even like this anymore. I'm doing it because I have to. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, my passion is the training. The show is that additional just to show myself what I can do. But to me, the best part is the training. I'm not a fan of getting in a little bikini and hopping on stage, but I want to do it because I want to see what I can achieve. Because you know what? If anything, like I never thought I would run a marathon. I've run 4. So it's kind of like, maybe let's go for Olympia. Why not? What is there to lose? But to me, the best part is just the training and waking up every day and just pushing past your limits, pushing out of your mind. Because that's like one of my favorite quotes is pain is weakness leaving the body. Yeah. Yeah. It's truth in all aspects. And it's like what struggle is progress. Yeah. If you're not struggling, like that's growth. It's not failure. It's like when you're going after something and it's hard, pushing through that's growth. Yeah. So that's how I look at training and everything in life is you got to, you're hitting the struggle, you're hitting the hard times. Those hard times are what make you stronger. Those what develop you into that person where you want to be. That's what you want. You want the growth. So true. So true. With the muscle and with the mind. Yeah. You got to fail. It's almost like failing to fail is failure. Yeah.
Yeah, failing to fail is failure.
Yeah,
So
it is.
it's not trying and fail. Who is it? I think who was it? It could have been Brian Tracy, one motivational speaker, who said it's better to try and fail than fail to try. You
Yeah.
know, and it's something that I've always lived by. You know, anytime I'm like, oh, should I do it? I'm like, yeah, of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
of course.
Do it.
Of course. It's like I don't get that embarrassment of like, oh, should I speak to this person? I'll just do it now. You know, when I was when I was younger and I used to be out there gallivanting about trying to find a girlfriend and stuff. It got to a point I just didn't have a problem like speaking to
Yeah.
whoever, really, you know. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
she's not interested, she's not interested. It's fine, you know, I'm happy with within myself. Um,
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask was, oh, sorry, alarm. Excuse me. So you got like loads of different ways in which your whole holistic approach is really amazing. And I think you'd mentioned that you was a Virgo. Is that right?
Yeah.
A Virgo. Are you into astrology at all? Is it astrology or
I
astronomy?
feel like
Astrology.
I don't know a lot about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I do feel like I fit it. I'm very organized. I'm very determined. I'm a go-getter. As you can tell with my social media, it's very organized.
Yeah.
Everything is structured. Everything is like eye grabbing and boom and never using the same exercise and always trying to give it. So that's just how I am. I'm very organized, determined, and I feel like I fit into Virgo. I just don't know much about that astrology to the extreme.
Yeah, some people really do look into it. Like they'll, even when they're finding their partners, they're like, "Oh, what's your star sign?" Right. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. You
Yeah,
know.
you don't work. You don't work with me.
I know we're getting a great conversation going on, but this ain't gonna work. You know.
It's okay. Technically, I think I did Google it before, and technically, like me and my boyfriend are like 1% compatible. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I believe this.
Oh, so when you two met, how did he find your whole regimented approach with everything that you do? You know,
He
what was
is
you like?
he is just as into fitness, into mindset wise, career wise, driven, motivated, just as me. I
Mm,
always say a relationship works when you don't need to find happiness with each other. If you know what you're doing, if you are happy and you love yourself, you have your career, you're going after what you want and you're independent, and the other person is the same way and you don't need each other, that's when you can lift each other up and take yourself to the higher self. But
yeah.
everyone nowadays tries to find happiness in another person, because they don't have true happiness with themselves. You have to first take the time and get where you want to be and love yourself. And then you got to find that person that has taken that time too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, you know, because some people feel as though, yeah, they need to find someone in order to be
Yeah.
happy.
No.
They're not really whole in themselves, are they?
Yeah. No.
Mm. So, one more thing, your
Yeah.
mindset. Do you have any kind of mindset rituals? You know, maybe I don't know, like
Crazy things I
affirmations
do.
or yeah, 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 yeah.
So
To
one crazy thing I do is, if you watch any of my videos, like before I go into a lift, um, I do the weirdest things. So like for squats, I tell myself the weight is light AF and I'm strong AF, and I say make it fly. And that's what I do for every set. I look at myself for when I do shoulder press. I say strong and stable. So strong and stable shoulders. This weight is light AF. You're strong AF. Make it fly.
That's
Or I'll say
awesome.
no one's stronger than you. And I go into every single set telling myself that the weight is light. I am strong. It's gonna move. My shoulders are strong and stable. And because I believe that anything in life, if you go into it, like for squatting, if you go into the squat afraid that you're going to fail, then you're most likely going to get injured. Now, if you go into that squat with that heavy weight on your back and you know how to pull out if you do fail, and you're confident under that bar and you stay tight, that weight is going to feel so light and it's going to fly up. It's all
Mm.
about your mind, and it's anything in life. If you believe in yourself, and you have that in your head and you create that cycle of telling yourself you're strong, you're powerful, you're confident, you're wealthy, you're happy, you're successful, that's going to go into your life. That's going to go with your training. That's going to go with the people that you connect with. So it's having that mindset. And I do that with all things in life, with my training, with all my clients. Like when I get on the phone, I ask them everything about their thing. And I'm just so confident I could help them. Because I've been through it all.
Yeah.
I reverse dieted. I built muscle. I was overweight. I was underweight. I had histamine, FODMAP, all of it. And I know I can help all my clients. I do everything to help them. And I work with them with mindset, because I feel like I see the clients that second guess everything. They don't put the trust in it, and they don't work on their mind. Nothing's going to be good enough. And they don't end up executing and getting there. My clients that have a hard time, in the beginning, coming from like an eating disorder, not eating enough, all of that, and we reverse diet them, if they switch their mind and they start focusing on the gains in the gym, focusing on getting stronger, putting in the work, their hormones start regulating because they're eating healthy. They're making healthier food choices because their mind's changing, because they're working on their mind. Then they're getting stronger. Cortisol's going down. They're actually end up increasing their calories tremendously, having a total body recomposition effect. They get their period back. They look like they lost 20 pounds. And they're eating more calories than ever and feeling stronger than ever. So it's all about the power of the mind. If your mind is strong, you make the healthy changes in life, and that's what leads you to success.
Amen.
No limits. Yeah, that's what
brilliant.
I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That was.
Sorry, that was like a long-winded. I go off in tangents sometimes.
No, that was great. That's great. Because sometimes people just have a phrase and then they just leave it as that. But when you can dissect it and you can explain what it means to you, I think that makes it more personalized. So people can hear it and they can dissect it and be like, do you know what? Yeah, I see how that can work for me as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Elizabeth, sorry, Liz.
No, either one works.
That was truly amazing. That was incredible. I really, really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Wow. I need to read more into your posts. I think there's more into the discussion we had now than what I've learned from your posts, in all fairness. And you do give a lot of information, but it's probably more so.
I know I try to like share as much as I can to help people, but it's almost like my story has so many, like, if I sat here and said every aspect of it, we would be here for hours, because there are so many highs and lows. I created a document that I would give to every doctor saying I've tried this and done this, and it was like 3 pages long.
That's insane. But it's
like,
good
here's
that
my history.
That's brilliant. And you've done that yourself. It's
I used to do that.
That's that you create. That's yeah. Your brain is very different, very different. Yeah. And you still got this OCD, but you've kind of worked it away. You found a way where it can work for you, isn't it?
Yeah. I would say that I use my training to make me feel good, and everything that I have, all my energy, I make sure to protect myself with my crystals and meditation, but I give everything back to my clients, because I feel like I was put here to help people. And like, you could ask any one of my clients, they have my direct phone number. If they're across the world, I'm still answering to them, because I just want to help everyone. And that's just truly, I started my Instagram to keep myself accountable to not going back into my eating disorder. And I would have never thought that it would have grown. I tried doing pictures and selfies, and it wasn't me. And I'm like, I want to inspire people. I don't want to track my journey anymore. I want to help people. So I found out a unique niche, which is being badass with unique workouts, and then throwing my geekiness of education in there. And it worked for me. And I just say, like, you got to be you in all aspects of life and stop trying to be anyone else.
Yeah, that there's a saying there, isn't it? Like, be yourself because everyone else is taken. Definitely. It's been amazing. Where can people find you? What is your Instagram handle?
Awesome. So it's Elizabeth Aylor Fitness. It's almost like Elizabeth Taylor without the T.
I know. I was trying to Google you and I was like, no, not Elizabeth Taylor. Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fitness.
And then I answer all of my DMs. So I literally go through every DM every day and I answer everyone. So if anyone wants to reach out to me, you could DM me, or my email is elizabethaylorfitness@gmail.com. So it's very simple. Yeah. And I answer all my comments. So you can just comment on my Instagram post, and I do
See
weekly
that.
lives, and I just want to help everyone. So I blend gut healing with badass workouts, with progressive overload, with things on hormones. I make a little circle out of it, holistic approach.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, you definitely need to check out Elizabeth. You can just hear from this discussion alone how incredibly knowledgeable this lady is. So
Thank you.
definitely follow her on social media. Are you on Twitter at all or
I
YouTube? I
don't
think you've got a
Twitter.
YouTube.
I mean, I was going to start a YouTube. I believe, if you're doing good with something, just master it. So I'm putting all of my effort into my Instagram just so that I can make sure that I am answering everyone and
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
it. I have a TikTok. I kind of stopped TikToking.
Right, right.
So
That's hard work.
Instagram's my main thing right now.
I think you should start a podcast yourself. I know it might take a bit of time,
I
but
was I was gonna. You
yeah,
ready for it? Was going to be called The Iron Beauty, and beauty was all lowercase, and the E and A were capitals for my initial.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
the
that.
Iron Beauty com. And I was
Yes.
gonna, but COVID and everything hit, so I'm just I'm transitioning right now with
Yeah.
my career.
But you're doing a great job. And when you
Thank
do
you.
decide to set it up, just make sure I'm on there for a
I would be
little
honored.
conversation. Yeah, I'm
I would be
there. I'm
honored.
ready. Let's set the date.
I'm ready.
Oh, it's been awesome. Thank you very much once again. It's been an absolute pleasure. And
And thank you. Thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you for having me and taking the time today.
anytime,
Yeah.
anytime,
Yeah.
anytime. Um, if you are going to be at the Health Optimization Summit, I don't know if you heard about it. There's one in UK in January. Health
Probably
Optimization.
not, a little far.
Right, right, right,
A
right.
little far. I would love to, but probably a little far for me.
There's many different ones in the States. What are they called? There's
I
something
did one
like
before. I think Dr. Robert Casari was there. I did it around like 5 years ago when I was raw vegan. It was amazing.
right, right.
Yeah,
I'm sure when the next one arrives, hopefully you can make it with your boyfriend.
definitely. Definitely.
But again, thank you very much. It's been an
Thank you
absolute
again.
pleasure. Have an incredible day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.